I see that good clear water, and I'm just so inviting. And you have to be willing to go outside your comfort zone a little bit and be willing to maybe see or experience something that you wouldn't be used to seeing here in the U.S. You know, when you've earned it like that, it's top notch. The Hiker's High, it's a thing.
Podcast 18. We have Justin Kelley back here. He is a graduate from Mount Union University. He is a semi-pro tennis player and a world traveler. Justin, it's great to have you back in the country.
Great to have you in the podcast.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
I'm happy to have you back. We had you back a long time ago. I forget what episode it was, but we weren't doing what we're doing now.
That's true.
We have been here.
I'd only been back like 2 days at that point. So
yeah,
true.
We
have mics now.
We
do have mics.
We have a whole setup. We did this for you. We really did it for you.
Hey, means a lot.
Well, happy you made time for us.
Oh, it's a priority. You know it would be.
Yeah, because you were just traveling, and I don't think people know where you were. Where were you?
Yeah, so I left first weekend of November. I spent a week in New Zealand and a week in Tahiti, running around the islands of French Polynesia.
So. How did that trip come about? No, people don't just usually go, "Hey, I'm going to New Zealand."
Well, that's true, but we have pretty close family friends that have a daughter who lived over there for a year, and so they invited me to join them on their family vacation to go visit. And so I figured that was as good an opportunity as any to be to that part of the world, so I decided to jump along.
Yeah, because that side of the world, going on a plane that long, I could never. I'm not scared of flying, but I'm scared of flying low key. So that
well, it was about 20 hours in the air each way. So yeah, you got to get comfortable.
Yeah, you really do. And so you went to New Zealand first?
Yes.
How was that?
It was fun. That was definitely something that was pretty unique. We saw a lot of unique stuff. We did anybody that's familiar with Lord of the Rings, we went to several areas where it was filmed. We saw some volcanic hot spots, thermal pools, did a little hiking, went to some caves.
What is a thermal pool?
You know, a hot pool, natural hot springs that you can get into them. You can swim around a little bit in some of them. Other ones you can just kind of look at, take pictures of them. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's sick.
It's like a earth hot tub.
Yeah, like a natural hot tub.
So our fan base loves Lord of the Rings, and you got to go see some of the places it was filmed. Tell us about that. How much did you love that?
So I'm not as big of a Lord of the Rings fanboy as a lot of people are, especially around here. But it was still interesting to see the areas and the scenes that you saw in the movies kind of come to life. So I mean, the first day we were there, we went to where they filmed the Hobbit Village, the Hobbiton movie set. So we're standing in front of the little mini Hobbit houses and getting drinks at the Green Dragon Inn and stuff like that.
Were they actually super small?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I was kind of towering over the doors. You couldn't go in most of them. You could only go in one or two that they kind of made big enough for you to fit in.
Yeah. Can you go in Bilbo Baggins?
No.
Bag End,
No.
I think it's called.
Nope. All they have there is they have the sign that says no admittance except on party business in front of it.
That's funny.
So I just took a picture of me next to that sign and moved on with my life.
I would have walked in.
Yeah,
oh my bad, wrong door.
No, they have the doors closed. They have the doors closed. You can't.
So would you recommend it? If you're going to New Zealand, or if you love Lord of the Rings that much, would you recommend going down?
I mean, if you are big into the Lord of the Rings, you have to do it. It's something that New Zealand is famous for. That area, it's a lot of farmland to get to it. So if you're going to go through that area, you might as well.
Yeah.
It's like a pilgrimage, I feel like, for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it definitely was for some of the people I was traveling with. So
it
was something that we weren't going to miss.
If we get 100,000 likes, we have to go there. That's 100,000 likes. We are all going there. We'll bring Brian.
That's one of the things I really, really like about traveling in general is, a lot of people don't experience it, I think, because a lot of people tend to just stay where they're from, right? And you've seen this now because you've gone to a lot of different places. You went to Scotland as well, right? You've been to London. Mm-hmm. You've been to El Salvador?
No, I've been to Guatemala.
Guatemala, that's okay, yeah. I know somewhere south. And just
Somewhere south.
Somewhere south, yeah.
Somewhere not
in America,
America.
we don't care about the particulars. But
Nope.
one of the really nice things about traveling to these places, like every place has like their own unique spin on something to like they have something to offer the world, and you just have to be there to like experience it, right?
Yeah, you have to be willing to go outside your comfort zone a little bit and be willing to maybe see or experience something that you wouldn't be used to seeing here in the U.S. So maybe, escape the comfort of a resort, for example, if you're in a place, and kind of go experience what it's like to be in a new place, and you can have something unique, a unique memory that 99% of general spoiled American tourists might not have.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
One of the really, really cool things that I think I saw on one of your social medias but while you were there was you took like a panoramic video of yourself like on top of a hill with one of the most beautiful sights I've like ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And
So that was crazy.
yeah. And I love places like that where you just go to like an area and you're exploring and you have to do a little bit of work to get there, right? Like you have to hike pretty far. But like the experience, the encounter that you have in certain areas is just so unexplainably incredible that it just makes everything about travel worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes your breath away sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to climb up a mountain at least once in your life.
It's true. The feeling that you get when you really summit, when you've earned it like that, it's top notch. The hiker's high, it's a thing.
Oh, 100%, I agree.
Yeah, that's the one thing, like growing up in like the Midwest, it's just cornfields, it's just flat. When I first experienced mountains, it was just like, whoa, like these actually exist.
Yeah,
like they're actually big.
And as soon as I saw them, I was like, I want to get on top of it.
There's no corn in sight.
You went to New Zealand, and then you said you went island hopping in French Polynesia.
Yeah. So we took about a 5-hour flight from Auckland on to Tahiti. Anybody that might have heard of that. And we spent the next week seeing 3 different islands there. So we spent a few days on the main island. We took a day trip over to a neighboring island, and then we spent a few days on a pretty famous island called Bora Bora. Anybody that's seen social media reels of like those overwater bungalows kind of sitting out over the water with the mountains and the super clear water in the background, it was probably taken on that island. So you'd probably be familiar with it just from those videos. And we spent a few days there. And yeah, it was the best part of the trip. That was the single best destination we saw. It was good that we did it last, because it would have been a little lame going to the other places after.
Yeah,
that,
like you go to like the best place ever, and
it's
then
like literally the most beautiful island I've ever seen, and I've been to several, and it wasn't close.
What is it about being on islands? You just get this incredible feeling.
I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
I think it's like part of it is like you're in this area of the world that's just kind of like isolated from the rest of society. Like it's obviously not, but to a certain extent it is, right? Like you're just isolated and you feel like you're like in your own place.
I don't know. Just the water's beautiful. The food tastes amazing. The vibes are just so good. I don't know. It's just so easy to just feel at home immediately.
A lot of people don't get to experience that. They don't get to experience, like they see Bora Bora, like you said, on reels, and they think, oh, these celebrities go here. They don't really get experience.
I mean, to so many people,
cool.
Places like that are just like something you dream about growing up, and it's never something serious that you actually think that you could ever do.
Yeah.
And so for it to become a reality it's pretty special. Yeah. And
you're wearing a Scotland hoodie right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned that quite often. It sounds like it was amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was a little trip I did back in March to go visit a friend that was living in London at the time. So we spent a week over there in the UK running around and split our time between London and Edinburgh. And yeah, it was fantastic.
So it's like almost like the same trip, but just different part of the world.
And a little shorter.
Yeah.
Which one is better, London or Edinburgh?
That depends on what you're looking for. I honestly enjoyed Edinburgh a little better. Yeah.
The viewers can wonder why.
The viewers can wonder. Yeah. Viewers can wonder why.
No, I've been to both too, and I definitely think that Edinburgh was a lot more enjoyable of a city.
Yeah. Not to talk down on London, I had a great time, but yeah, Edinburgh, just some special memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have never experienced Europe. I've been to Jamaica, and then I've been to Mexico when I was younger. I don't remember it at all. So that's really cool. Like I had the opportunity to possibly go to Poland for World Youth Day. We moved to Ohio at that time, so it fell through.
Yeah.
But that's something I definitely would like to do one day. Is go over. I want to see the churches out there, like the history of the churches.
Oh yeah, I mean the architecture is just
different.
fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's one thing that America is definitely missing is like especially when you go to other countries, particularly on the other side of the world, there's just so much more history there of like, just the built-in buildings and stuff like that. When you go to Paris, when you go to London, when you go to Edinburgh, like the buildings there have this like almost like authority. Like they have this like big ancient historical authority over you just because of how old
and
they are.
They have like the big steeple that just like dominates your view.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as it's like the first thing you see when you come in and the last thing you see when you leave, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. One of the really cool things I really liked about Edinburgh was there's a bunch of mountains that kind of surround the city, right? And when you go to the top of one of those mountains and you're looking down on Edinburgh, a lot of the buildings have very like pointed tops, right? It's almost like a very
seat?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a very, very Gothic kind of style. And it's very different from U.S. cities. When you see a skyline of U.S. cities, they typically have very flat buildings. Mm-hmm. And they give off two very, very different impressions. Like one is kind of like, it's like pointing up to the heavens and stuff like that. And the other one's just kind of like, I mean, I'm not talking bad about American cities, but it's just different. You know what I mean?
It's totally unique, 100%. I mean, I also did that Arthur's Seat. I made that a priority to do before we left the city. So I definitely know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally see it
totally
from
right.
everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
It's nuts how big it is.
You can see it from everywhere in the city. It gives you just great views over the city and the ocean, kind of the sound that leads into the bay there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a great like kind of last activity to do before we left the city.
What would you say is the best place that you've been to?
I just got back from it. Bora Bora, 100%. Took my breath away.
No hot takes here.
Yeah, 0.
No hesitation.
So as you were leading up to the trip, you were packing, you were planning all this. You said like you were like a master planner and master like you
slight exaggeration.
Just maybe a slight. A lot of people like, especially for like me personally, when I think of planning for a trip, it's daunting. It's just like
it's like where do you start?
Yeah, so like what you've been on quite a few trips. Any advice you have for people?
I just have fun. I mean, I have fun with it. So I'm thinking like, what can I do in this location that I cannot do at home? So then you just start researching. You just start looking at some niche thing that maybe somebody that just goes to sit on a beach all day might not think to do, or where's like some out-of-pocket hike that I can do or something. And then you just start like building an itinerary from scratch. You maybe use a little TripAdvisor, a little bit of whatever resource you want to get kind of recommendations for, maybe best sites to see in the city, best things to do, best places to eat. And then you just start like making a list of priorities, maybe things you want to hit. And before you know it, it just kind of starts coming together. I don't know.
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like stepping out of your comfort zone, like you mentioned earlier, like for me, when I go on vacation, it's like Florida, like the Fort Lauderdale area. And
I mean,
just
it's what we all grew up doing.
Yeah,
right?
It's like to sit and just hang out and just relax and like do nothing. It's like,
I can do nothing for a little while, but I eventually get bored and want to switch it up a little bit. Go have some fun, make some memories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one of the most important things about, I think, vacation is like making sure that you do stuff that is memorable. Because there's nothing worse than going on a vacation and then coming back and you have no stories to tell.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm never going to just sit in a resort and swim in the pool. I can go swimming in the pool in July in Ohio. It doesn't matter. I don't need to do that here.
Underrated take right there. Because I feel like a lot of people will go to places and, they just want to experience the nightlife in different areas.
Yeah.
But
go to a bar here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you realize, like, the nightlife doesn't really change that much. Like, there's, like, places have their own unique takes and, like, there's different things like languages and stuff like that, but I mean, for the most part, alcohol is alcohol, right? Like, you're gonna get that anywhere.
Yeah, and like if you want to hit up a beach bar or something like that, 100%, go for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you don't need to like spend your time bar hopping. You can do that here. You know what you can't do here? Like snorkel with sharks or something like that. So get your butt in the water and do it.
I'd love to see someone do that in Ohio. Yeah. It's like I'm in Lake Erie. I'm snorkeling with the sturgeon.
With the walleye.
Yeah, with the walleye.
I'm sure they're friendly.
Yeah, they have to be. And that I can't see them. The water's so dark, but they're there.
Yeah. We had visibility of 200 feet, believe it or not.
That's nuts.
You can see the bottom 200 feet below you from the surface when we went out.
That was one of the craziest things. I haven't seen that, obviously, in Bora Bora because I've never been. But I was lucky enough to go to the Caribbean once, and I know you have too. And I remember flying over the Caribbean for the first time, and you just see, like, the bottom of the ocean. It's crazy.
It's so blue.
Like, I just, I grew up on the coast. I grew up outside of D.C. and in Virginia, and we were relatively close to the ocean. And when you go to the ocean there, no, you can't see 2 feet. When you're 2 feet in the water, you can't see the bottom.
You can't see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah. The difference
And the
is
South
just nuts.
Pacific is just like that, but
Mhm.
even a little bit better once you get in.
Just absolutely untainted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, you have to see it to believe it, really.
Yeah, no, I really want to go back someday. I love seeing water like that. It's
Oh yeah,
just so
and it just
beautiful.
makes you want to swim more. Like when if I'm ever by the Atlantic Ocean or something like that, I never am interested in getting in the water. I'm down to just lay on the beach and just hang out, maybe get some food or something.
Yeah.
But
Get a
I
little
see
bit
that
of
I see that
tan.
yeah, I see that good clear water, and I'm just so inviting.
Something special. That's like, I got the privilege to go to Jamaica for our honeymoon, my honeymoon, and yeah, like it was just like we went snorkeling. It was like, kept losing my wife. I was just like looking down, like whoa.
Yeah.
And she's like, 20
you lose
feet
track
just
of everybody.
swimming. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Just swim and look, man. Don't worry about the people you're with. Just look down.
It's just so disconcerting to be in the water and you just see fish swimming past you.
I know.
Like,
I know.
well, then when you see a big fish and you're like, whoa, hey, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I won't hurt you. You
Yeah,
won't hurt me.
Yeah, we made a couple of stops when we were snorkeling out there a couple weeks ago, and we were in the water with manta rays and little reef sharks. So, I mean, the reef sharks weren't that big. They were a couple, 2-3 feet long, but it's still a shark.
Still massive. That's such a big fish.
It's still a shark.
That's bigger
But
than
these-
a tuna fish.
But these manta rays, dude, they were like 10, 12, 14-foot wingspan, just gliding like a foot under your chest. I'm a tall guy. I got long arms, and they were just dwarfed me.
Does that freak you out a little bit?
No. The first time I got in the water, the first time I ever snorkeled and saw like a 6 or 7 foot long barracuda or a grouper or something like that, it spooked me a little bit. But now I'm used to it.
Yeah, those groupers are massive. They are massive.
That's I was
And
just-
they are
Hey, buddy.
mean-looking fish, but they don't really.
Yeah,
do
they're
anything.
completely hideous, but they taste
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, but the barracudas, though, those scare me. They're quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so fast.
They're so fast.
They're
You
so
don't see-
fast, but they're completely friendly. They lied to you in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, they definitely make them out to be
No,
like
no. They
very
just
mean
kind of
fish.
stare at you with their teeth sticking out the front of their mouth and just leave you alone.
It's like I could eat you, but I'm not going to.
But I'm too lazy.
They have so much restraint.
It's like you just look like you have no idea what the heck you're doing. I'm just gonna leave you alone. But it is fun to look at you. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like us going to the zoo, right? Like
Oh,
we
yeah,
just
yeah,
look at
yeah.
animals and they're just like sitting down. The barracuda see us coming, they're like, "Oh, the humans are back!" Like,
Oh, watch this guy swim. It's like, oh.
Yeah, definitely. First time I got in the water with one of those, I was a little spooked. But by this time, no, I've done it enough times in enough different places that it was just cool to be able to be in the water with something that unique.
Did you snorkel in the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done a little snorkeling in a couple of islands down there. I've also did a dive one time down there. So
That's sick.
A dive's different.
That's what I've
That's
always
on a whole
wanted to
nother
do.
level.
I've never done snorkeling, never dove before. So.
Oh yeah, you gotta try it next time you're in the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Diving is something I'd love to go back and get certified to dive. That's definitely a bucket list thing because I did it the one time and you just see so many cool things and it's different. Instead of swimming on top of the water, you can actually you're down 30, 40, 50 feet down swimming with the animals. You can just be swim right next to the turtle instead of look down at it.
Well, see, this is a perfect way to segue because, we're always looking to make money from this podcast. So if you guys want to sponsor us and see a video of us diving in the Caribbean,
It's gotta shoot a shot.
really
Shoot your shot.
quick, if you guys want to like and subscribe, we totally forgot to do that at the beginning of the
Dude,
podcast.
I'll pop it up.
We would have
Yeah.
incredible content.
Yeah, it
to
would
honest.
be. I mean, that's our hope one day to be able to go on trips and stuff. But it's funny you mentioned like scuba diving. So really random story. I went to a jeweler to look at watches. I'm interested. I'm trying to maybe buy my first actual watch. And so there's a watch dealer in Fairlawn. We go in there. I'm like, had a watch in mind, so I go look at this watch, and it's this old guy's the owner of the shop, and he just starts talking to me, just nonstop talking, just those salespeople that start talking too much and sharing a little too much.
Oh yeah.
So he tells me his whole life story. He's been in Akron since his family's been selling watches in Akron since the 1920s. He's fourth generation. It's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation, we talk about as much as we could about watches. And then he would talk about dive watches. And he goes, yeah, I use this one to go scuba diving. I'm like, oh, you scuba dive? He's like, oh, yeah. Brings out his phone, and he shows me a video of him scuba diving in the Philippines with a 20-foot tiger shark right in front of him.
What?
That's crazy.
This dude's in his 70s.
Wow.
And he's just casual. Oh, yeah, I saw the tiger shark. Oh, it was cool. And he goes, Yeah, then we went and they were showing where they harvest all the golden pearls in the Philippines. He goes, yeah, it was really cool. We ate some of the clams. Like what do you? Like, we're in there for an hour and a half.
He's like, oh yeah, by the way,
I would have been
tiger
loving
sharks.
that story. That would have been that's awesome.
It was fantastic. It's the fact that he's just showing his phone like some random guy. It was so cool.
That's the other great thing about traveling is it's amazing to when you're a traveler yourself and when you talk to other people that obviously share the same love of traveling as you, and they just pull out random stories like that.
Oh,
there's like no greater joy of like
Oh, yeah.
discovery. Like,
yeah,
than
you
that.
just take turns flexing on each other. Like the cool stuff you've gotten to do. It's
Yeah,
so much fun.
exactly. It always becomes like sort of
It's
a
so much fun.
competition. It's like, oh yeah, I've
did
been
that?
to
Well,
this
I got
place,
to do
this and
this.
this. Yeah.
So you were down 40 feet. I was down 100 feet.
Yeah. Hey, that would be the goal someday. That's the goal.
I've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I actually parachuted off. Here's a video.
Yeah. AI generated.
Oh, you can do that.
Oh,
low-key.
you like to hike? Take a look at this hike that I did.
So I went to the top of Mount Tibet. Wait, that's
Mount
not
Tibet.
that's not
Mount
what it's
Everest?
called. Mount Everest.
Yeah.
In Tibet. Actually, I think it's in
I
Nepal.
walked up backwards.
It's
actually.
got one side's in Tibet, one side's in Nepal. Fun fact.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that before. That's true.
But
I've
most
not heard
most
that.
hikers summit from Nepal. It's easier.
Interesting.
See,
Well, I did it from Tibet.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brian.
Brian's over here yapping.
Dude,
Yeah, peanut gallery back there.
like that's so I hiked a mountain back in 2019. Yeah, 2019. And that was like one of the coolest experiences.
It's so cool,
Ever.
and just the view from the top, the 360 view. I mean, like you said, I was so proud of that. I was so proud of my social media that day. Like you couldn't even capture it, and I mean, very very difficult. You have to earn those views. You don't get to just walk to the base of a mountain and just waltz right up to the top like you're walking through the mall.
No.
It's intense. It's difficult, and I mean, it took us I think 7 hours to do 4.5 miles.
yeah.
To get to this. So
Not
And
to
we were just talking about like how well, we weren't just talking, but we mentioned earlier about like old buildings have that sort of like authority,
Yeah.
right? Like that sort of like authoritative like figure just standing up in the presence. It's the same thing with
the
mountains.
prominence of a mountain.
The prominence of a mountain and
yeah.
like being on top of a mountain, there's like you just feel this sense of like superiority. Like I'm on top of the world, and you're like
I see no
2,000
God up
feet in
here.
the
I
air.
see no God up here.
Yeah.
Other than that.
And so like, not to flex on you, when I hiked my mountain, it was
Your singular mountain.
yeah.
You've only done one.
It was 4.
Oh.
We peaked 4 in a day,
Oh,
and we were hiking for. I think it was 14 hours, and then we did. I forget how many miles we did.
Where was
2,000
it?
feet elevation.
It was Mount Washington in New Hampshire.
yeah. I've been up there.
Isn't it awesome?
Yes.
Didn't it piss you off though when you hike up to the mountain? You're pushing hard to get to the mountain, and the people drive the train or they take their cars up on top, and you're sitting there like you're dead, and these people are like taking selfies. You're like,
Bro, it's such a difficult, rewarding trail though.
dude, I would do it again. It was fantastic.
Oh.
but then
100%.
I got lost on the way down.
I'm not
That was
a
my
big fan
issue.
of like doing the same thing twice. I usually try and find new things to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely beautiful.
Yeah, well, the issue with me when I did it, the company I was with, it was like a little suspect.
Oh.
So I didn't get to enjoy it
Wait,
to
you
the
took a
fullest.
guide?
No, I was. It's a long story. We can talk off camera. It's it's a long story, but I would like want to do it with like you guys, like a good group of people, and have fun with it. I couldn't have fun with it. I couldn't enjoy it.
I got
you know.
Yeah, because I mean, the hike that I did, in Bora Bora, it was recommended that you do not attempt the hike without a guide, and I was just like, challenge accepted. So, like we got in the cab. In
like,
the
oh
taxi
no,
to
I'm lost
take
in
us to the
Bora
trailhead,
Bora.
yeah. The taxi driver's taking us to the trailhead. He's like, "Who's your guide?" I'm like, "I don't have one."
Me.
I'm like, "I don't have one." He's like, "What do you mean you don't have one?" I'm like, "I said did I stutter?"
I am him. No,
My
but,
phone has a compass on
yeah,
it.
facts. But like, it's a like trips are cool. Like, obviously go to the destination, but like trips with people that you genuinely enjoy being around, so much better.
Oh, yeah.
It can make something like not lame, but like not as cool as like going to Mount Washington or going to Bora Bora, but you have that good group of people.
Oh, yeah.
Make anything fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Makes,
goodness.
I mean, it's all about the memories. Just as important as the scenery and the place that you are is the memories that you make with the people that you're there with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you go because you need something like that guy that you're just talking about, the 70-year-old. You need stuff that you can reminisce on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's way better to reminisce on something when you have people that you can reminisce it on with.
That's
right?
the best part, being able to relive those moments over and over and over again.
100%. That's one of the things that I really, really like, kind of regret is I used to travel a decent amount too. I went to school in Europe, and all the people that I went to school with, I'm not with them anymore. and all my memories of travel are with them. And it sucks because I really don't have anyone that I can like relive those memories with anymore.
Yeah, we have one.
Sucks.
Gettysburg.
That was a fantastic trip.
Shout out Chad.
Dude,
Shout out Chad.
Gettysburg is so much fun.
Yeah.
It was such a weird like that trip where it's like our buddy Chad loves like World War II and just history and
This was
the
a Civil War.
War.
Yeah. Not World War II.
Brain. And so he's
Gettysburg,
just like
famous
hey,
battle.
I'm going to Gettysburg. Like, do you guys want to come? We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we get anything
Why
else?
not? Why not?
He's like, I'll pay for the hotel. We're like, okay.
Sounds good.
And yeah, we just went. We drove
Yeah,
down
it's
there.
a ton of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was sick.
I love
It
Gettysburg.
was quick. It was tiring. Because like on the way, I drove on the way back that first half, and like I started driving. They're both just zonked in the back of the car. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this.
I
is
mean, we
gonna
pretty
be-
much walked across the entire battlefield in one day. And
Yeah.
to those who've never been to Gettysburg, it's a big
It is
battlefield.
big. Yeah.
I think
I
it's,
only spent a day there as well.
think it's the second biggest battlefield in the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken.
Brian?
I don't know.
Yeah. If not the second, it's definitely the
Brian's
biggest.
listening.
Because it is a
Brian's fine.
massive battlefield. I think it's almost 10 miles from one side to the
Yeah,
other.
it's big. It's
And
big.
yeah, I mean, it takes a long time to get. And there's so many. I love how rocky it is. Like you can just
Yeah,
go to
like
like
Devil's
any.
Den.
Devil's Den's
Oh.
fantastic. I love
Little Big
little Round Top is also
Little Round
fantastic.
Top.
Big Round Top, like all the different sites that you can see there, and you get great views from every single one of them.
It's just weird to go. Like we're walking. Like we're our like, best friend just chilling, and we're like laughing, having fun, and then you realize like
What happened
Like,
there
people, like,
150 years
people
ago?
died
Yeah, like
here.
right where you're standing, somebody got gassed.
Someone got their eye shot like right here.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
Someone got a bayonet rammed through their chest
Yeah.
right in front of you.
That's what we thought. I mean, like we went to Little Round Top, and that's where the
That's where-
infamous
yes.
Chamberlain
Yes.
drive was, and
The
like
stand.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And we were there. It was like, dude, like there was 200 years ago, not 200 years ago even. Like that's
150?
150 years ago. There were literally people running down here with like bayonets fixed.
and
Yeah.
we had our
Because they were out of
we had
ammo,
a-
like holding the back end of the line. It's
Yeah,
insane.
against I think like 500 more people than them too.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like
Bunch
a
of
whole
Maine boys.
division. Yeah, because it was like it was a division versus a regiment.
No, it was regiment versus
squad.
whatever the
I don't even know. It was a small
whatever
group.
the Confederates had.
Yeah.
we don't remember that. But yeah, we're walking around there with a toy gun and a fake sword.
You have to relive it.
You have to reach.
You have to relive it, dude. It was like it was recreating like our childhood fantasies because we all wanted to be soldiers back in the day when we were kids, right? And it was like, dude, like this is where like real American soldiers were and fought for great American values and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see.
That's why we are where we are right now.
Exactly.
That's why
Yeah.
we have the ability to do the things that we do, to have
Mhm.
conversations about our travels and things like that.
Start a
Exactly.
podcast. I mean, really.
Start a podcast.
It's crazy to think about. If Chamberlain didn't make that last stand, America would be very different, and we wouldn't be able to talk on this podcast more than likely.
I definitely would not be able to talk on the podcast for sure.
That's very true. Yeah.
It's true.
Sorry.
Dude, when I got
We'll
I-
cut this out.
dude, when I got into
This almost came out.
I mean, like, it is true. Because we went to Gettysburg, right?
Sure.
And it's really cool, but there's so many different places in America that you can visit that I feel like people just don't really go to. And Gettysburg is one of those like hidden gems that you wouldn't really know about unless you knew Civil War history
Yeah,
or
I
you
mean,
just went there.
People from here are so focused on maybe seeing out west, seeing the national parks. We have the Grand Canyon. We have the Redwoods in California. We have Glacier National Park. All these just world-class, beautiful places that are, in fact, as beautiful as everybody says they are. But sometimes they just overshadow maybe the smaller day trip options that are not so far away from home too.
Oh my gosh, Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful places that most people in America have probably never even heard about.
No,
Hocking
It's
Hills.
definitely the prettiest in Ohio.
Yeah, 100%. And just right there, because you said Ohio, like everyone would just stop thinking
Yeah,
about it.
it's like,
yeah,
Ohio.
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 It's like,
do that.
no, Hocking Hills is pretty.
Ohio
We have a
has
national
some-
park.
Dude,
Yeah.
our national parks are actually really nice. Like the park,
Yeah.
even the Cleveland Metro Park.
Mhm.
There's some really cool places.
Sand Run in Akron is actually quite
Yeah,
nice.
I was really surprised when I moved here. I was like, whoa, there's rocks. Like it's nuts,
Mm-hmm. I love rocks.
dude. It's like the comedian that puts rocks in his pockets. That's how they feel.
What?
You never heard? You ever seen
No,
that?
who is that?
I forget his name, but I won't bleep this out. He goes.
We'll
He
figure
goes.
it out. Brian, get us the name of that guy.
He goes. He's like, I'm gonna bleep this out. He goes, I'm not. but I like rocks. And they're like, what? He goes, I keep them in my pocket sometimes, and I like how they feel in my hand. Yeah, traveling is fantastic. It's a privilege to be able to do it, and I think we need to challenge ourselves more to go travel, even if it's not. If it doesn't need to be going to Bora Bora, you can go Hawking Hills. You can go to somewhere local. You have there's metro parks near everybody.
Dude, just get out. Just get outside. Just
Challenge
go
yourself.
outside and do something.
Yeah.
Do something new. Do something you haven't done before. And even if you don't have the means to go somewhere, on the other side of the world right now, that doesn't mean that you won't. It's about not looking at something as just a dream, an impossible dream, and saying, you know what, there's nothing to stop me from doing this too. Just get out and do it.
Beauty is out there.
Yeah.
Go find it. Go touch grass.
Touch
Get off
grass,
your phone.
climb a mountain.
Climb a mountain.
Yeah, do that. Tell you when you get down to bottom of the mountain and you look back up at where you just were, the feeling that you were just up there, and you just completed that. It's crazy.
It's fantastic.
Unmatched. Shout out Alicia.
Beauty is knocking on the door. Go open it.
Yeah. And this has been Podcast 18. We reached 200 subs. 2,000 subs. Thank you for 200 subs. We're gonna keep pushing. We appreciate it. Thank you, Justin, for being here.
Absolutely.
And
Thanks
we're
for having
out.
me.